beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. All beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. America, oh beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond the years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, till selfish gain no longer stain the banner of the free, of the
Come, 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 whoever you are welcome here. No matter your age, your size, the color of your eyes, your hair, your skin, you are welcome here. No matter your gender, whom you love, how you speak, or whatever your abilities, you are welcome here. You're welcome here whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears in your eyes, you are welcome here. No matter what you've experienced in the past, no matter what awaits you in the future, you are welcome here. Whether you believe in God all the time, some of the time, or none of the time, you are welcome here. This is a community of open minds, loving hearts, and willing hands. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name's Tom, and I have the privilege, my pronouns are he and him. I have the privilege of being your worship associate and worship leader this morning. I have on a gray shirt with giant letters USA, more on that later. I am brown hair and brown beard, and you guys are at a good distance so you can't see all the gray that's all over in here. Anyway. By way of announcements, we do have the food drive going on in the back, and look at that, I see there's more food than there was this morning when I came in, so thank you. Thank you for those who brought in food, and please be aware that there's that opportunity for those who might want to bring in more food, and there's information on the wall behind it about the details. Also want to just give a plug for the Happenings newsletter. Every week, Brenda J., our amazing admin, sends out our Happenings newsletter, and it's full of all kinds of goodies. Lots of things happening at SBUUS. So please make sure you're either getting it or you know how to get, or you can sign up in the back. Also, just want to, as long as I said it, I want to acknowledge Brenda and Maureen and Palmer and all of the people, and also the people who've joined us online. Thank you for those who've joined us online and are part of our service here as well. Does everybody want to, turn around and wave people online? All right, and now we'll go ahead and give everybody a chance to enjoy the warmth of community. So please stand up, talk to someone who maybe you haven't introduced yourself to before, or just chat with an old friend, either way. Remain standing for our opening hymn, number 140.
Everlasting
Thank you. You can go ahead and be seated. As we prepare to light our chalice, I'm going to read just a few quotes from one of my absolute favorite authors and heroes, Isaac Asimov. This will kind of introduce our topic. The saddest aspect of life right now is that science gathers knowledge faster than society gathers wisdom. Self-education is, I believe firmly, the only kind of education there is. Education isn't something you can finish. If knowledge can create problems, it is not through ignorance that we can solve them. Let's go ahead and light our chalice now. I'd like to invite Aaron. Did I forget your name? Is that right? Okay. Aaron to come and light the chalice. Those who are at home are welcome to light your own chalice and enter chalices lit at the name of your street in the chat box on Zoom. And as we light it, we'll say our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, for the light of truth, and for the energy of action. Thank you so much. All right, now it is time for our July birthday blessing. So, if anyone has a birthday in July and you feel comfortable, please come forward and we will honor you in your birthday month.
Join you in front anyway.
Is that working? Hello? Okay. Well, I don't have two microphones. Anyway, okay. All right, guys, look at this. We have some fantastic people. So as we go around, I'll ask you to say your name and your age, if you're comfortable saying your age, or a range, or a decade, or something like that, whatever you're comfortable. And then tell us your favorite summer vacation, since it's summer, okay?
Hi, Sophia Haas Tiggy. I was born on Bastille Day, not the original. In the year that the Voting Civil Rights Act was passed, which is actually in danger now. So that means that I am beginning the last time around the sun of my 6th decade on this planet. So can't really say I have a summer vacation, but I'm enjoying going out and kayaking now.
Thanks. Nice. Love it. Thank you, Sophia.
Hello. Okay. I'm Jordan. I am turning 39 this year, last year of my 30s, on the 29th. And our family vacation that we like to take, we go back, not every year, but most years, to Bear Lake. In the summer, we love it there.
Bear Lake. I love it.
And I'm Kate McGillivray, and my birthday is July 28th with my birthday twin. And my favorite summer vacation or birthday treat is anywhere where there's sun and water and sand.
I'm Kevin Alvey, and my birthday twin. I turned 69 this year, and my favorite vacation spot is anytime I can get out in my yard and do some gardening.
Nice. Gardening. Thanks, Kevin.
I'm Rick, and on Wednesday I'll be 76. I know it just doesn't seem like it, but it goes by fast. And my favorite vacation, by the time you get to my age, every day is a vacation.
Every day.
Palmer Pattison, July 31st, I will be 52. And any summer that involved me and my family out camping in the woods was a good summer.
Nice. Your birthday?
We have two online. Denny Lovato's birthday is tomorrow. Hi, Denny. And Krista Bowers is July 23rd.
Thank you. Thank you for letting us know, Brenda. All right, and for those of you up here and the two online as well, please receive these words of blessing. This is a very simple blessing. It's a Buddhist blessing. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be happy. Thank you, everyone. And I believe we do have some activities happening downstairs, right? Melissa, thank you, Melissa. And so any children who'd like to join her and head on downstairs, and we'll go ahead and sing our sanctuary song. So as I said earlier, there's always a lot going on at SVUUS, and I think a lot of it is kind of less visible. So I just want to call out the amazing volunteers that we have helping. I know Melissa and I think Elaine, and there are many of those of you here who have helped with the kids and don't get enough credit for the hard work that goes into that. So thank you. There are many, many ministries, by the way. There's helping with the kids. We have our justice and our equality committees. We have a humanist group. We have Soul Matters groups. We have all these different groups that meet and people who work hard to keep these programs going. One of the most important things that helps us to keep all these things going and have a vibrant community are the way that we pledge our time, our talent, and our treasure to SVUUS and to our community. We thank especially those who pledge monthly and donate online. That's actually the majority of people, so thank you so much for doing that. And then also we collect every week our offering and share it. We split it with an organization. This month we're splitting it with the Utah Food Bank Kids Cafe. So please join with me in speaking our offertory words. We are this church. We are its hands, its heart, its voice. Together we share the wealth of this community and sustain it with our gifts. We'll now accept the offering. If I can invite the ushers to come up. Thank you, Brenda and Dave. And for those of you online, of course, you can use the giving link that's in your order of service, and we'll enjoy some music from Tasha.
The stars are with the Voyager, wherever he may sail, wherever, and wherever he may sail. So love is with the lover's heart, wherever he may be, wherever, and wherever he may be. The moon is constant to her time, the sun will never fail. But follow round the world, the great green earth and the sea. The stars are with the Voyager, wherever he may sail, wherever, and wherever he may sail. And so the night is never dark, and
have received, and for all we found the courage to give, may we be truly thankful. May these gifts be a blessing to South Valley and to the Utah Food Bank Kids Cafe. We now have the great privilege of hearing from a couple of our congregation members, first Ash Rowan and then Sophia Haas-Tingy, to tell us their thoughts about civic engagement and this amazing democracy that we have.
All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Ash Rowan, and my pronouns are they, him. I am a white person in their 30s. I'm wearing glasses, a face mask, short brown hair, sort of a lavender button-up shirt. I didn't have anything super patriotic to wear, but I figure if you mix red, white, and blue together, you kind of get purple, so it works out. You might possibly remember me if you were here a couple of years ago when I was helping out on the worship team and led a service inspired by Pi Day. I unfortunately had to step away for a while due to my health, and because it's a little bit of a commute from Utah County. But lately my daughter, Erin, you saw her up here helping with the chalice, has been insisting that we find a church community. And there's no other group of people that I'd rather be doing church with, so thank you for welcoming us back after our hiatus. Today I'll be speaking briefly about the relationship between civic duty and community and the power of connection. As a teenager, I became very politically engaged by virtue of my mom. For as long as I can remember, she's been learning and advocating about local issues, making and putting up banners and campaign signs and chalk art, helping to organize events, and served as a go-to source of information when neighbors were trying to decide which way to vote. I joined her to participate in phone banking at campaign offices, stroll through neighborhoods to canvass door to door, and even march in a few parades. Although today I'd be embarrassed to name the specific candidates we volunteered for, since they don't align with my current values, I do still feel like these experiences helped to shape my worldview. It was valuable for me to participate, not just in the electoral process, but also to be directly involved in my local community. What is a community? It's a group of people who are united because they have something in common. Sometimes it's because you all exist in nearby physical proximity, and other times it's those who share similar life experiences or a common purpose with you. For example, I experience chronic illness and consider myself part of the disability community. And by the way, July is Disability Pride Month, so if you're missing the rainbow flags of June and want to continue to be an ally and advocate this month too, I definitely recommend reading up on that. I've really appreciated the various accessibility choices I've noticed here at South Valley. Decisions such as wearing name tags and sharing our pronouns, having a cozy sensory-friendly corner in the back there, or streaming our services online so folks can participate at home or rewatch a sermon later, even displaying live captioning and lyrics. All of these things can and do make our community more welcoming and available as a source of connection for people with different access needs. Another way I personally stand in solidarity with disabled folks is continuing to wear a mask in public. This protects not only my own health, but also others around me, especially those with underlying conditions or compromised immune systems. For me, it's a practice rooted in care. As volunteers for a candidate, we rallied together to form a community with a specific purpose. Though we came from different walks of life, we all had the goal of getting our chosen person into office and shared the broader vision that things would hopefully change for the better as a result. We were knocking on doors and making phone calls, despite the very real possibility of being yelled at or cussed out, because we were hoping to find others who shared our values and vision and then try to make a connection with them. Civic duty is what we owe to our community because we are connected to it. And connection is the heart of community. We know, as Unitarian Universalists, that none of us is an island. Whether we like it or not, we are each bound up in the destiny and well-being of every other person, living thing, and the very land we live on. I deeply value our democracy, and I hope it continues to endure. I still believe it's important to exercise the right to vote, even when I feel disheartened by the very same system that my vote is part of. At the end of the day, what keeps me grounded is remembering that our most fundamental civic duty is to each other. In the face of forces that would sow contention and discord between us, every connection we can forge and maintain is a meaningful one. We need each other. Even across political divides, we have so much in common. I wonder what it could look like if we celebrated our interdependence just as fervently as we commemorate the independence of one nation from another. In that spirit, I'll close off by reading a poem called Dependence Day by John Daniel. It would be a quieter holiday. No fireworks or loud parades, no speeches, no salutes to any flag. A day of staying home instead of crowding away. A day we celebrate nothing gained in war, but what we are given. How the sun's warmth is democratic, touching everyone, and the rain is democratic too. How the strongest branches in the wind give themselves as they resist and give themselves. How birds could have no freedom without the planet's weight to wing against. How Earth itself could come to be only when a whirling cloud of dust pledged allegiance as a world, circling dependently around a star, and the star blossomed into fire from the ash of other stars. And once, at the dark zero of our time, a blaze of revolutionary light exploded out of nowhere, out of nothing, because nothing needed the light, as the brilliance of the light itself needs nothing. May it be so, and may many blessings be upon you all. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sophia Hostingi. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and sometimes they. I come before you today as a tall, 5'11.5", transgender woman with long blonde hair, freckled, tanned, white complexion covered with freckles, as my friend calls them, angel kisses. I am wearing a black t-shirt today emblazoned with the words trans power on them. When I was asked to speak on civic engagement and share my UU story, I do the thing that I normally do as I go and I research. What am I going to actually be talking about? So I decided to start researching the definition of civic engagement and relate my experiences via that particular definition. According to the APA's website, civic learning and civic engagement are not the same thing, in the sense that not all service learning has a civic dimension and not all civic engagement is a service learning. For definition's sake, civic engagement is the broader motif encompassing service learning but not limited to it. One useful definition, I've highlighted this, of civic engagement is the following: individual and collective actions designed to identify and address issues of public concern. Civic engagement can take many forms, from individual volunteerism to organizational involvement to electoral participation. It can include efforts to directly address an issue, work with others in a community to solve a problem, or interact with the institutions of representative democracy. Civic engagement encompasses a range of specific activities, such as working in a soup kitchen, writing a letter to an elected official, voting, or serving on a neighborhood association. Indeed, an underlying principle of our approach is that an engaged citizen should have the ability, agency, and opportunity to move comfortably among these various types of civic acts, end quote. Community engagement is a cornerstone value that I have inherited. My mother's father was a Baptist minister that elected to work in communities of color that were frequently avoided and neglected by other Baptist ministers in New Mexico. His wife, my grandmother, would help the Latino community with their taxes, and in her later years volunteered at the Deming City Senior Center. My mother volunteered to teach special ed students before there was a certification required. She volunteered at the library, and she served on the board of commissioners for the local Boy Scout district. She also wrote a letter to Representative Jim Wright in order to keep the local Air Force base from closing, which would have devastated the local economy. My father served on the same commission as my mother, served in the Air Force for 20 years, including the Vietnam era, volunteered as a coach for my Little League team, and actually brought me onto the Little League team, and on icy days would take his Suburban out with chains to pull people out of ditches. My father once told me that our freedoms are earned, and that every generation has to continue to fight for them. At the time, because he was an Air Force person, I thought he was referring to the fact that we seem to face a war every generation. Now, I know it goes much deeper than that. When it comes to our civil rights, we, quote, cannot afford to be complacent, end quote. Something else my father used to say. So you could say community engagement runs in my family. One of the first needs I felt drawn to were the message boards at Laura's Playground, an online trans support forum where I worked to encourage transgender bloggers to not give up hope. I eventually created an online support group called Transgender Social Support Network for trans people to find support via Facebook when I first moved from Kentucky to Utah. At the end of my first visit to South Valley, I was invited, thanks Peter, to a rally at the Salt Lake City LDS Temple complex in support of our LGBTQ+ community. Lying on the ground outside the office buildings with other activists, I felt empowered to be part of a greater movement. I wound up getting involved with advocacy organizations like Equality Utah, Restore Our Humanity, and the Transgender Inclusion Project. I absolutely loved the activism and staying involved. It wasn't long before I found myself testifying at the Utah State Capitol. I found myself first running for office in 2014. Since then, I've run quite a few times at both the legislature and city council levels, trying over and over again to get a transgender voice into elected office in order to be in a place to help others understand the transgender community and to focus more on progressive issues. As a groundbreaking transgender individual, this gave me more access to the media than I previously enjoyed when I outed Select Health for the discriminative policies. Thank you, Scott, for that. When I ran a petition in support of marriage equality, and when the media noted the breakthrough of 2 trans women in Utah being legally married. Since then, there have been numerous media opportunities, and I've had the honor of being invited to speak on panels. I've done my best to use my voice for the betterment of our communities. In 2016, while serving as a national delegate, I found a sponsor to add 2 historic planks to the Democratic National Platform I care deeply about. One, affirmed the need to support medical care for trans individuals, and the other declared that religion is not an excuse to discriminate. After the first time I ran for office, I was asked to join the Utah Stonewall Dams and the Transgender Inclusion Project, 2 organizations I have the privilege and honor of currently being in leadership roles today. I joined and served and still serve with the Women's State Legislative Council of Utah, and said yes when Brian King asked me if I was interested in joining the board of directors of ACLU of Utah. At the time, I had no idea that today I would be standing in front of you as the vice president of the board for the ACLU of Utah, which I consider to be a critical and a phenomenal organization. Several years prior to that, I served on the Community Council of Midvale, building and using relationship to advocate for needs in our community. Recently, I started a blog with the intent to help empower more advocates, and as part of the Utah Stonewall Dems, I've been volunteering monthly for almost a decade to help serve breakfast to our homeless youth at the VOA. We have also begun to start having monthly queer coffee to help build our community supporting our queer-owned businesses. There are many other important forms of civic engagement. I cannot stress enough the importance and need for voting, philanthropic giving, electoral participation, establishing and strengthening community bonds, and political involvement. Just this week, I sent an email to my legislators and Senator Reby asking for someone to sponsor legislation supporting transportation worker needs. My wife was a trucker and suffered hard by one of the motor freight companies. My father repaired trailers after retiring from the Air Force. My sister works for an international shipping company. I have a roommate that drives for Swift, and I'm a principal software engineer at Worldwide Express, a company that connects customers to shippers. And I've been working there for going on 10 years now. For me, civic engagement is putting myself out there again and again, trying to make a difference wherever I feel needed. It's standing up for the rights of others, leaving the world a better place than I found it, and encouraging others to do the same. It is a belief that the democratic process offers hope. If and only if we have representatives that will work for the best possible solutions, who will listen with compassion and do the right thing after truly understanding the impacts their decisions will make. It is about holding our elected officials accountable and responsible, and helping them have more empathy and understanding. It is well known that there are more perspectives than there are seats at the table. Each perspective still has both a right and a responsibility to be heard. Good decision-making happens neither in a vacuum nor in an echo chamber. Coretta Scott King once said, "Women, if the soul of the nation is to be saved, then I believe you must become its soul." Per capita, I have found Unitarian Universalists for over 100 years to be more civically engaged than other denominations I have ever been involved with. It is one of the main reasons why I love it here and call this congregation home. May you continue to be civically and actively engaged. The soul of our nation depends on it. Thank you.
I have a few remarks as well to share, even though I invited Sophia to speak, knowing that I would have to get up after and be just absolutely shamed in the level of my civic engagement. Yeah, she's done a lot more than most of us, and thank you, Ash, as well. I very, very much appreciate your remarks. I titled my remarks, Preserving our Republic and Our Souls. So first on the first part, preserving our Republic. I want to tell you the story. Some of you may have heard this, some of you may be familiar with it, but James McHenry was a Maryland delegate to the Constitutional Convention in 1787. He kept a good journal of the things that the Constitutional Convention was doing in developing the Constitution and really establishing our government. On the final day of the Constitutional Convention, he recorded the following words. A lady asked Dr. Franklin, referring to Benjamin Franklin, "Well, doctor, what have we got, a republic or a monarchy?" "A republic," replied the doctor, "if you can keep it." These words, almost right off the bat, were echoed in print and kind of mythologized, and a lot of stories built up around them. We don't really know the details of the conversation between Benjamin Franklin and the woman he was talking to. But the reason that these words are so impactful because it's still a challenge that faces us to this day. The Constitutional Convention did their work, put together the republic, the government for the republic the way they saw best. Not a perfect process, not perfect people. But at the end of the day, they hand the baton to us now. They challenge us. Will you keep this republic? Will you preserve it? Will you keep it going? And like any living thing, we can't put it in a glass jar and expect it to just remain exactly the same forever. In order to keep the republic, we need it to grow. We need it to change. We need it to adapt. We need it to be relevant to us in our times. So that challenge remains with us. Will we keep this republic? I think at the time, they were extremely worried about what was happening in France, right? They saw sort of the monarchy in Britain and the democracy in France. Great Britain had stability and wealth. France had chaos and a very bloody and difficult transition into democracy. And I think the founders of our country were extremely worried that we might devolve into violence. I say these words because hopefully this feels relevant. There is political violence, there is political anger, there is the potential to devolve into that kind of back and forth. What is our salvation here? How do we preserve our republic while still pushing it forward? I think it comes down to something that Ash touched on, which is choosing to cooperate and work together for progress instead of choosing to hate and be at each other's throats all the time. I'm going to read for you an excerpt from Al Gore, and whatever your feelings on Al Gore, he can be a divisive figure, potentially. Some of you, I'm sure, love him, others maybe not. But one way or the other, when he lost the election of the year 2000 to George Bush, many of you, I'm sure, remember this. This is pretty recent history. But he gave what I think is a monumental concession speech. I'm going to read some lengthy excerpts here. So for context, this is Al Gore talking about the decision that the Supreme Court made to hand the election over to George Bush. And again, whether you agree or disagree, that's not really the point. The point here is his reaction. He says, "Now the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken. Let there be no doubt, while I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept the finality of this outcome, which will be ratified next Monday in the Electoral College, and tonight, for the sake of our unity as a people and the strength of our democracy, I offer my concession. I also accept my responsibility, which I will discharge unconditionally, to honor the new president-elect and do everything possible to help him bring Americans together in fulfillment of the great vision that our Declaration of Independence defines and that our Constitution affirms and defends. President-elect Bush inherits a nation whose citizens will be ready to assist him in the conduct of his large responsibilities. I personally will be at his disposal, and I call on all Americans, I particularly urge all who stood with us, to unite behind our next president. This is America. Just as we fight hard when the stakes are high, we close ranks and come together when the contest is done. And while there will be time enough to debate our continuing differences, now is the time to recognize that that which unites us is greater than that which divides us. While we yet hold and do not yield our opposing beliefs, there is a higher duty than the one we owe to political party. This is America, and we put country before party. We will stand together behind our new president." It seems like words from a bygone era, right? And yet it's only 20 years, 24 years ago that this happened. This is patriotism. This is strength. This is what we ought to demand from our leaders on both sides of the divide. Democracy is not a perfect system, and I don't think anyone is under the illusion that it is. Winston Churchill, and by the way, I looked this up because Winston Churchill is famous for having a lot of quotes that he never actually said, but according to the International Churchill Society, Winston Churchill actually said this: "No one pretends that democracy is perfect or all-wise. Indeed, it has been said that democracy is the worst form of government, except for all those other forms that have been tried." And I love the humor, I love the humility. Let us never think that our form of government is perfect exactly the way it is. Let us never think that our political party is perfect exactly the way it is. Let us never think that we are perfect exactly the way we are with whatever opinions we currently hold. Let us hold humility and understand that we're all just trying whatever we can do. I think the more that we can extend empathy, even for the people on the other side of the aisle, and understand that they're also human beings, and they also want for our country to be strong, for our political system to be strong, for people to flourish, that we have these things in common. So I want to conclude with one more Isaac Asimov quote, since I love Isaac Asimov. This is my theme today, apparently, Isaac Asimov. But in life, unlike chess, the game continues after checkmate. So the point is, you may have felt like you just checkmated your opponent. I just made the argument that is absolutely rock solid. I'm sure we've all had this experience, maybe, I don't know. I've definitely had this experience where I make a comment on someone's post on Facebook or whatever, and I think, done. I burnt, like this is over. I made the comment that will absolutely change everyone's minds. No, it doesn't change everyone's minds. Just people will continue to have the opinions that they will have, and life will go on after that checkmate has been given. We need to not burn the bridges. We need to make our argument as strong as we can and focus on the issues and the things that we'd like to see improved without resorting to the personal blame game and the derogatory comments that burn all of our relationships. I also just want to make a comment about media. I think that we're all very much victims of the national media, especially that just thrives on the clickbait and the provoking the strong emotions in all of us. And it tends to lead us towards division. So, my challenge to you today is to think about ways to build bridges. Think about, instead of burning them down, think about ways that we can continue to move our causes forward and believe strongly in the things that we need to change and improve in this country. But think about ways to do it that build relationships, that help us to have love and harmony, especially with those closest to us. And this is how we can save both our republic and our souls. This is how we can have peace and love in our lives instead of hatred and division. We can see the humanity in the people all around us, even in the people we disagree with. So I encourage you to do that and make our democracy strong. Thank you. We'll now have our closing song with Jordan, which I forgot the number. What number is it, Jordan?
Just the first 4 verses.
Please stand as you're willing and able. be seated for the postlude. Palmer's smarter than I am. And we're going to extinguish our chalice. Please say with me the chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this chalice, the light of truth, or the energy of action. We hold each other in our hearts until we meet again.
You can come stand by me, buddy. Okay. All right. I don't know who didn't sing this in elementary school. This land is your land. And so I'd like to invite you to join me for the last verse. I'll let you know when it's the last chorus. I'll let you know when it comes. All right? Did you want to come here, buddy? Okay. Sparkling sands of her diamond deserts, and all around me a voice was sounding. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. In the squares of the city, in the shadow of the steeple, near the relief office, I see my people. And some are grumbling, and some are wondering, is this land still made for you and me? The sun comes shining as I was strolling, the wheat fields waving and the dust clouds rolling. The fog was lifting, a voice come chanting. This land was made for you and me. Everybody now. This land is your land, this land is my land. From California to the New York Island, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters. This land was made for you and me. This land was made for you and me. Yeah, buddy.
Thank you. You're all dismissed now.